And now let's meet the individuals competing in session one. First from Fisk University, a sophomore from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, Aaliyah Reed-Hemmons. And a sophomore from McKinney, Texas, Liberty Mora. And now from Southern Connecticut State University, a junior from Franklin, Tennessee, Libby Allen. A freshman from Washington Township, New Jersey, Angelina Stampa. A junior from Chino Hills, California, Angel Lee. A freshman from Bangkok, Thailand, Sophia Rucker. A junior from Moncton, New Brunswick, Canada, Alexa Melanson. A junior from Hampton, New Jersey, Bree Dorr. A freshman from Hazlet, New Jersey, Kylie City. A freshman from Lebanon, Connecticut, Gabby Denise Ray. A junior from State College, Pennsylvania, Erica Byer. A senior from Ashburn, Virginia, Hannah Zeppi. A junior from Oakton, Virginia, Lexi Brocker. A sophomore from Long Beach Island, New Jersey, Ava Kelly. A freshman from Bayville, New Jersey, Gigi Mastalone. A senior from Nellistown, Pennsylvania, Emily Kale. A senior from Tulsa, Oklahoma, J.C. Jordan. And a sophomore from Memphis, Tennessee, Audrey Arnold. We would now like to recognize our officials for today's event.
9.85 this season, contributing to Air Force's floor high score of 49.15.
Unfortunately, in the bottom right on floor exercise, we did see a fall on that front full punch layout. What's so tricky about those combination skills is that the timing is just everything. If you punch wrong, if you time it out a little bit off, then it could mess up the entire skill. And something to point out, like you said, these athletes work so hard and they do want it so badly. And so I think a big mindset that they have is being able to trust their training and trust the process, because they perfect these routines for so long, so many years, but so many hours in the gym leading up to each competition season. So again, like Annie said, they want it so bad. Sometimes you have
There to go through all the events, and then they simply get a 30-second touch to train all their skills quickly before they go up and compete. So keeping the body warm is sometimes the biggest challenge. You can see J.C. Jordan getting ready for her bar routine. Natalia Terrani with a great, beautiful series on beam on your top right score, and Gianna Martina for Air Force on floor, nailing her first pass. Gianna, or Gigi, is a floor specialist. She has a season high of a 9.85 as well as a season average of 9.85. So consistency is the game for Gigi.
You can see on this bar routine in the upper left box has been absolutely phenomenal. Beautiful double layout, slight deduction. She almost had
And get this, the first 10.0 in school history. How exciting and honored are we to be able to watch this in person?
Absolutely. What an incredible accolade to have, especially being the first one. And we can see why so far. Huge. She had a huge Takat jab down to that pack to the low bar, and now back up to the high bar, hoping for a stuck dismount right here. Wow, and she got it. That's going to be basis in collegiate gymnastics. And again, just on top of that, as a sport, you're on a college campus, you have classes, you have all these other things that you're trying to balance. And so I think a lot of things play a role and a factor into that transition. But again, these athletes have done a great job so far being able to handle it, because being a collegiate athlete also comes with that pressure that we've talked about this entire broadcast.
And they have to be very disciplined athletes. Sarah Willis there for vault on Air Force, following Ayla McKean's 9.575. Angelina Stanfa now on the beam, a freshman from Southern Connecticut State University, majoring in nursing.
That handspring by handspring layout was that acro series. The bottom left of the screen was just, she was slightly off. Her hips looked like they were turned, so unfortunately had that fall. A triple series is very difficult to do on balance beam.
Cami Zarlango waiting for the green light from the judges on bars for Texas women's, following Lainey Hunt's 9.675 to kick things off for Texas women's. Up next on the floor, Cami Whitaker, following Addie Rothstein.
Just looking at the events on bars, the judges are really looking for those handstands on top of the bar. A really tight form throughout the routine, and then those stuck landings.
Is an E pass, similar to like on floor, that 2.5 twists. Up on beam now, Angel Lee. She is a junior and has scored a 9.85 2 times and is a beam specialist. First GEC champion for Southern Connecticut State on beam. So you can see why this is her specialist event. On floor, Sydney Peters, the common name that you'll see in this Cornell lineup.
A really unique combination we just saw on balance beam. One thing to point out is that you saw that front aerial back handspring. She was a little bit off. She was able to cover the slight wobble that she could have had. But on top of that, on balance beam, if you miss a connection, these athletes they're just so smart, and they've done it so many times. They know if they miss a connection where they can add in a new one just on the fly in the routines. And so, again, we would never know where it's supposed to be or if they're doing something out of the ordinary, but they know. And so that's a really cool thing, a difficult thing to do. In 8 full routines, depending, not even just ours. We knew the choreography for all of them.
That makes it fun though, and those girls that aren't competing, then it's like they're competing 24 routines.
Getting a good workout in, right? Watching and doing it on the side. Absolutely.
So, sometimes the meets that I didn't compete in were more exhausting from all the cheering. If you didn't walk away with your voice lost, I don't know if you definitely lost something there. Emily Call up on beam, Southern Connecticut State. She is a senior. She was a Bridgeport transfer, actually, and a GEC scholar athlete for 3 years. And on bars, Caroline Bounds for Texas Women's.
And Caroline Bounds, we actually saw a fall from her, which it looked like she fell on her first handstand up. And so when that happened, she literally had to repeat the entire routine over again. And that's really difficult to do. So
for Cornell on the floor exercise, rounding out their lineup. And as I mentioned, Libby Allen on beam as an individual competitor. Caitlin Walsh following Sydney Beer's score of a 9.9. And if you look at the Cornell lineup, their skills built 9.6, 9.8, 9.85, 9.85, and 9.9. So Caitlin Walsh is set up for success right now. She just has to take advantage of this opportunity that's given to her. She scored a 9.875 this season, so we'll see what she can do. Nothing like some AC/DC to try to beat that 9.9 and continue that upward momentum.
Absolutely. Floor is such a cardio-based event as well. That's something that you have to train your body to do, right? And build up that cardio to be strong enough to do.
Johnson, she has scored a 9.85 already this season. And score is in for Angel Lee, a 9.75 on beam, and Libby Allen, a 9.7 on beam. And Morgan Price on the uneven bars, all-around competitor with a 9.85. It looks like Alexa put her hand down on the beam, which is a deduction, and broke the connection, so she will most likely not be starting from a 10.0 start value unless she repeats that skill. And that's exactly what Sydney and I were talking about, how important it is to make those connections and get those high start values so that your scoring potential is just as high. And Kirsten Johnson bringing in the base here on her floor exercise, opening with a huge first pass. Now to start them off, and on bars, Air Force, Chelsea Boyer. For the individuals, Sophia Ruker is starting off on floor exercise for Southern Connecticut.
So far, it's been a solid beam routine down in the bottom left box.
This women's did score their season high of a 49.1, their last competition at conference championship. So they have that upward trajectory to keep this lead and front runner spot. But again, it is beam, and ending on beam can be a stressful event for a lot of athletes and teams.
Yeah, we've said it a couple times
there.
Yeah, and we've mentioned a couple times, beam is the make or break event. It's tough to start on, it's tough to end on. You've got to do it though, right? Every team's got to go to beam, so you just have to get good at it, pretty much, is the simplest way to put it.
First, third, fourth, I'd be nervous, that's for sure. On bars, Chelsea Boyer wrapped up for Air Force to kick things off. And on vault, Avery Vaughn with a front entry vault, a little bit more unique vault than we've been seeing here today. And more impressively than anything on beam, it amazes me how the coaches are able to walk in stiletto heels on those mats. So shout out to Lisa Bowerman for being bars for Air Force. And a great step dismount by Claire Wallace, following Chelsea Boyer's 9.625.
And then again, another back handspring to 1.5 stick over on balance beam. That was an exclamation point to that routine. Nicely done.
Definitely just a freshman. She has scored a 9.825. Cornell's vault lineup, Josie Moylan, a 9.425, and Avery Vian for 9.6. They have had their lineup shift a little bit throughout this season due to some injuries, and they don't have as much depth on this event, but they have very consistent and reliable routines, as you're seeing in the scores continue to climb with Addie Rothstein's 9.675.
And that's something to make a note of, that you have depth. A lot of lineups have depth in them, but at postseason, you really have your lineup finalized, I would say, for most teams. So there's not a lot of changing in and out. But again, we do see injuries because of postseason, and season is long and it's hard on your body. So there are lineup changes here and there, but in a perfect world, you would want to keep your lineup as consistent as possible, gearing up for competitions like this.
Pushes your lineup to be better. It's a competition inside of the gym each day at practice to try to get one of those 6 spots within the lineup. And so it's almost important to have that much depth, and just for the longevity of the season as with it. But I know if she trusts her training, she'll be capable to go out there and hit for her team. Over on the vault now, Sydney Beers. She's a two-time vault GEC champion, and I know that she's capable of sticking that because she just did at the GEC conferences, where she received a 9.9 and was rewarded for that step vault by winning the competition. Over on the floor exercise, Erica Pryor, the individual competitor, the junior, with a fourth season high of a 9.85.
You can see the bottom left screen on balance beam, really nicely done, front tuck, skill. Also, not a skill that you see too often.
Very cool skill by Steely King. And over on the bars, Maddie Carlisle for Air Force. Sydney Beers rounded out the Cornell vault lineup with a 9.8. They're finishing their vault rotation with a 48.275.
Wow, and we just saw a stick on beam for Steely King and then another one on the bar dismount.